Well, if you could pick a stage of the season to turn up and bottle it, it probably wouldn't be now. We've got a real chance in our first ever European campaign, but we might be waiting a while for our second one if we don't win this competition. Because in the last couple of league games, our long old season has just about caught up with us, and with our defence depleted due to injury, we've dropped points late on, and from winning positions, we're now in trouble and relying on success in his European semi final. Yes, hello, and welcome to part 79 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We're approaching the end of season 10, and we have got a big one on the horizon here. Southend v Real Sociedad in a two-legged Europa League Semi Final. And if we win it, we will be in the final, the showpiece event, and a chance to compete for our first major trophy. Have we actually been in a cup final since the FA Trophy in year one? I'm not sure we have. So it could be that big of a moment for this club. We'll find out as we go along. But as you can see, we're in 10th on 55 and we have not put a lot more on the board since you were last here. So let's go and have a look at the schedule and what's been going on. Because it's not just the fact that we haven't got the results in the last two. It's the manner of them as well. And if we don't win this home leg today, it will be the dreaded 5 without a win. The point at which the morale and the crisis sets in FM24. So we were here as we got away with rotating for the Celtic game, and I was actually pretty happy after the Newcastle draw. And I was pretty happy until late on against West Ham United, where at 2-0 up at the hour mark, we managed to throw it away. A 3-2 defeat, a shocking loss, and Joe Wills got 2, but apart from that, it really all did fall apart. At home to Sheffield United, a very similar experience, even later this time. 85th and 89th minute, and there were big strikes from distance. The first of them was also the first big mistake from Jude Sadler since he's come into the first choice team. And again, Teddy Ivanov's goal's just drying up now. And of course, Emir Williams still out, so not in a perfect position. We know that those last couple of league games are tough, so really, the Wolves game would have been a priority, but now, it's going to be different to most of the Europa ties. We're going to be rotating the opposite. We're going to be playing our first team today and next Thursday, and probably rotating a bit on Sunday. So let's go and have a look at what we can put out. The dynamics are starting to suffer a bit. The club atmosphere down to good. Nowhere near the top where it has been in recent weeks. We've of course got Sam Ammo just returning from injury, but he's not registered for the Europa League squad because initially it said he was going to be out for the year. And to be fair, even now, are we going to get him back to his best in a month? Probably not. So as we go through to the fixtures to face Sociedad, we've got a very tough game on our hands. We look at their team. There is a little bit of experience in there. Chris Richards, a centre-half, a player you'll recognise from Palace. Not a huge amount other from the English leagues. We've had Sakarian before in the Brighton save back in FM22. And you can see he's scoring basically 1 and 2 from midfield. Not a bad player at all. So let's just go and get through to this. Let's see what team we can put out. This is basically the first 11 minus a couple, and it's what we played against Sheffield United. But I'm wondering if for today we just go 100% full strength with Mira on the left. I mean, the rest of it's pretty close, isn't it? It's just who we go for at left back. Herbert's going to play in the middle because we're still without Williams. And at least we've got 12 senior subs. No messing around with youth players today. Let's just get it done. I think I'm going to stick with this. We've got Jude Sadler in goal. Veranda and Ishmael the fullbacks with Herbert and Parker as centre-half. Yakalano and Mira the wingers. Bernberg and Jimenez in the middle. And it's Ivanov and Wills up front. Teddy Ivanov not scored in his last 3. His last goal was against Newcastle in the last episode. Joe Wills very much in form. His unhappiness has gone again, but I haven't offered him a new deal. Not quite sure why that is, but I'd imagine he's going to be off this summer unless we get into Europe again. So let's go and submit the team for the first leg at home to Sociedad against the Scottish sides in the last 2 rounds. This has been where the job's been done. 4-1 against Hibs, 4-0 against Celtic. If we don't have a big lead going into the away leg, we've already seen from earlier in the year, we're not going to offer that much on the road. This has got to get done early. Let's get into it and see if we can do it. Well, not quite a full bench for the Spanish side, but to be fair, the players they've got in are good enough. Serginho Dest part of their squad as well, but he's dropped out for today. Must be injured or suspended. Umar Sadiq's still going. He's on the bench for them. But it's a strong squad. So let's go and get through the tunnel interview and through the dressing room pre-match. We're going to ask the lads to prove a point. We've got a few motivated, but not quite as many as I'd like. We're going to get through the tunnel interview. Keep with the second answer. As the Europa League music comes, we head into the first half. Of course, we know there's representatives from all of the four biggest ranked coefficient leagues, Southend from England and Sociedad from Spain, but the other semi-final, German side Leipzig, who we'll be hearing a bit more about in our other Save the Head coach soon. If you don't know why, have a look in the eye above. And AS Roma from Italy, a league I've always enjoyed, as Ishmael picks the ball up at left back for Bernberg. Now Parker at centre half. Can we just get that first goal? I mean, I do worry about what we do late on, given our recent games, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we get 3 up, maybe we'll change shape, put a holding midfielder in. As Ivanov goes to Mira. Ambitious trying to go 3 up. Mira puts it in for Wills, though, and we almost make it 1. Off the bar, back to Yocolano. And Baranda puts it over the bar. First big chance of the game is taking a quarter of it. And you can see Sociedad's plan, and I don't blame them. Come back, sit behind the ball, and try and keep the score down, because away from home, they know we're beatable. We might have to dust off the old back 3 tactic that we've used an awful lot in this save on the road. Particularly if we've got a lead going into the second leg, just to try something different. As Bernberg finds Ishmael and now Herbert. Can we find a way forward? Ishmael to Mira. Is he going to have that I've arrived game today? Bernberg chips up to Jimenez. Good flick for Ivanov. Not scored in 3. And it's starting to look like it's destined to be 4. That's a great save in the top corner. Couldn't have placed it much better, Ivanov. Maybe going low would have been the better option, but it was corner bound as Herbert loses the header from the corner. It's out as far as Ivanov on the wing. Into Herbert again and Jimenez. Parker's got options right. Baranda's 1. 2 running off him. Good cross in. Deflects to Wills and scored. 28 for the season in a 28th minute. Make the most of this kid because he's not going to be here long. I worried and I questioned myself about spending 21 million and making him the record signing. We're going to triple or quadruple that money this summer. He has been a fabulous player, but can he lead us to our first major trophy before that? And that trophy being a European one would be hilarious if we won it before any of the domestics. Let's go and prove a point again second half as Leipzig 1-0 up at home to Roma as well. But we've got a corner here with Mira. First minute of the half, headed just over. Richards beaten by Parker in the air, but we can't quite make anything of it. You can see from the stats with a dominant force, they're doing what Spanish sides do. They keep the ball, they're doing well. But we're creating all the openings as Roma equalise and we pick up a knock with Mira. Really struggled with that left wing this season. It's a Dozy who's going to come on. I had Kamara as an option, but I'm going experience. I'm going for a little bit of guile. And Sam Ammo can then play the league game if need be. An hour on the clock, 1 isn't going to be enough, I can tell you now. You all saw the Hibs away game and the Celtic away game. We ain't winning it from 1-0. We've got 20 to go, I'm going to make changes. Bernberg off for Berek. I'm tempted to take Wills off as well, but I'm going to go Ivanov for Rasmus Jensen, who's been on fire in this competition. Ishmael's nervous, so Kamara comes on. And Yocolano for Takatsuka. He's not had his best game. The Japanese international has occasionally produced magic off the bench. And I wouldn't mind it today. 15 gone. The expected goals is now over 2. But can we get the second goal to show us? Kamara whips in a free kick. Wills off the post again. How much closer can you get? I mean, it's been a really good performance. But again, that's not going to count for much without the extra goal. As Kamara in, headed towards the keeper. And he's straight at him. The set-piece barrage has been effective. But that clinical edge has not quite been there. Herbert, normally the man popping up with them, but against this higher level opposition, it's just going wrong. And don't forget, at this stage, against Sheffield United, it all went wrong at the weekend. We are susceptible to conceding late goals as Kamara wins the ball back for Herbert, into Berek. Now Jimenez, he's knackered, back to Parker. That was not a good pass. We got away with it. Sadler goes wide to Baranda. Let's build. Space to run into. Baranda goes over halfway. 2 inside. Takazuka's wide though. Good ball to Jensen. Wills is with him. Doesn't need him. Rasmus Jensen, 14 for the year. How many of them are in the Europa League? At least half, I'm betting. He's been magic in this competition. It's his 10th in the Europa. He's been that good. Should get top scorer in it. Now we've got to throw on the right with Baranda. If we score one more, I will sit on it, as Wills gets the ball wide to Baranda. Not sure what we can do tactically with the 5 subs made, but we'll try and find something. As Wills nicks the ball high for Jensen. Could it be a sucker punch into Jimenez? You've got passes on. Goes back for Berek. Hits the woodwork again. Madness, the misfortune with the crossbar and the post. So many great efforts. 10 on target, 20 overall. As Jensen's on a corner. Can we make it 3 with Herbert? We said he'd been quiet all day, but it's wide to Adozi. What a finish it is. For once, we're getting stronger at the end of a game. Not sure why. Adozi in. Takazuka shot blocked. And again. Oh, it's a barrage of attacks. 3 minutes added on. It almost feels criminal if we don't get the 3rd goal now. Not sure why he's saying there's no rush to take the kick. We've got never time wasting and we want the goal. Jensen up to the back post. Herbert's beaten by the keeper. 2-0 feels cruel and it doesn't feel enough. The expected goals is over 3, but we don't make it count. And we all know what happened last time around, don't we? Away at Hibs, away at Celtic, we've not had the best of times defensively. We might have to try something different on the road. That, though, was an exemplary performance. It didn't have the wobble at the end that West Ham and Sheffield United did. Instead of winning it for 60 minutes, we did it for the whole game. Leipzig get a 2-1 lead against Roma. That one's going to the wire as well. So I think we've got to get through the Wolves game off camera and get through to the second leg, because the Europa League final is a real possibility. And then we're one game from a trophy and a route into the Champions League, which for a first ever major trophy would not be bad. David Mira is only out for 2 days. We got him off early enough. That should work well with Adozi getting a few minutes off the bench at the weekend. Maybe Sam Ammo getting his first start back. Let's get through that game off camera though. We'll be back in a minute for leg 2 as we head over to Sociedad. Well, we return for the second leg of our Europa League Semi Final with a 2-goal advantage, but a very poor away record in our debut season in this competition. We're still just about in the battle for 8th in the Premier League as well, which might be enough for a Europa Conference place next year. We have got to face Brighton and Everton, who are both battling for the top 4 in our final 2 games. Emir Williams still out at the moment. Of course, Sam Ammo out for this one as well, unregistered after a long spell out injured. He did come back off the bench though at the weekend against Wolverhampton Wanderers and he did okay. It wasn't a terrible performance, but it was almost a poor result. But that man Joe Hugill with a 90th minute goal. I'm so tempted to extend his deal because he's still popping up with big goals when it matters. And he gets us a 1-1 draw there, which keeps us in the hunt. For now, though, we go into this one after rotating the side heavily, replacing the final against either Roma or Leipzig. We're going to go back to what the assistant recommends as first choice. But I have a decision to make here. We struggled away at Celtic. We struggled away at Hibs. But was that because we were playing our backup team? We've not played our first team away any time this year yet. The options I have are to go to the back 3, which we played a lot in the past when we were away from home at the top sides and it restricted the goals a bit. The problem is we've only actually got 3 centre-halves fit. So it could go pretty wrong. The other side of that is we could make the changes and maybe pick a team with it in mind so that we can change to it if it all goes wrong. And by that, I mean we could find a way to get Asensio into the team as an option as a sort of right wing back. Maybe playing in midfield, I don't know. It's a tough decision at the minute, although Jimenez could do it. So what we're going to do, I think we're going to start with the mind that we're going to play the 4-4-2. But if this goes wrong, I'm pretty sure we can put Jimenez right wing back, Mira centre midfield, or do I? Maybe I stick with what the assistant did. I'm going to play Berek on the left because then I can tuck him in with Bernberg, Jimenez right wing back, Baranda centre half, and then Ivanov or Wills off the width with just one up front. I think that's the best option here. We've got 12 senior subs. This is the 11 we're going for. And maybe the assistant was smart to pick Berek on the left wing. I've got Sadler in goal, who alongside Berek and Herbert were the only three to start of the weekend. We've got Baranda and Ishmael back at fullback, Herbert and Parker centre half. In fact, bar Berek, this is the 11 that played last week, isn't it? So it's exactly the same. Yakalano on the right, Jimenez and Bernberg, Berek in for Mira, and Ivanov and Wills up front. Very rotated from Wolves, not very rotated from the first leg. It's the first time on the road we're playing our first 11. Just do not let it bite us. If it does, we have got the opportunity to go a bit more aggressive. Sergino Dest is coming into the team at left back. We know they've got a good team. There's no pressure. Relax and enjoy it. You're in a European Semi Final in your first season. No one thought we were getting here. But here you are, and you've got a massive opportunity. If we get to the final, what a first major trophy it would be. If we don't get the League Cup, we don't get the FA Cup, we go and get a Europa League and put ourselves in the Champions League for next season. That would be something else, wouldn't it? 15 gone, Sociedad with all the stats, but no goal to show for it. We're going to keep encouraging because the boys are doing well. It's a free kick for the host to the back post. Herbert away. Wills just volleys it clear. Nobody up there, apart from Baranda, weirdly. What the hell are you doing up there, seriously? Garcia on the right finds Take. Back to Garcia and Richards. We know they've got experience in there. If we can hit them on the counter, we've got a chance. And Ishmael's nicked it for Herbert. Not sure what the referee's doing. He's trying to mark her offside trap. I think the linesman's job's to do that. Up to Joe Wills now. He's got two inside. Ivanov. Jimenez running off him. The ball's poor, but so's the back pass. And Joe Wills is there. 29 for the season. He's at it again. First leg he scored. Second leg he scores. Are we on the way to the final? It's been such a frustrating finish to the season domestically. I thought our chance at Europe again was gone. Those drop points in the last three matches have been pivotal. But what a turn up this could be. 3-0 up with 40 gone. And it's been a thoroughly professional job so far. We approach half-time still with the lead. And we go to the dressing room very happy with what we've seen. Keep it up, lads. It's a good performance. God, this is going to affect us at the weekend again, isn't it? Because Ishmael's got a throw on the left to Berek. He's played well out there. Gets it back from Ishmael again. Just keeping the ball sensibly to Bernberg. Giving us a bit more technical adaptability on the ball. Into Wills, he scored again. Berek gets an assist. Wills makes it number 30. Not bad for a man who spent a third of the year unhappy. This is a remarkable performance. 3 shots, 2 goals. And 4-0 on aggregate. Maybe our first team is good. It just shows we might be underperforming in the Premier League. As Take carries it forward. Shots over via Sadler. Solid goalkeeping. Been quiet all day, but when called upon, he's done the bits for us. As Rodri has got an outswinging corner. Big one to the front post. Up goes Wills. In again. Herbert off the line. Wills again. Jimenez again. They're giving everything back there. You can see, though, what problem we're going to have if Wills gets sold this summer because we ain't got no one of that quality behind him. 64 on the clock. I'm going to take Yucalano off. We'll go for... Maybe I'll go Asensio, actually. We'll drop him to a support duty as well. Just going to be a bit more cautious about it for now. We're not going to try and be too clever. Might also bring on Joe Hugel as well. Or do we go Rasmus Jensen? I think we do. Teddy Ivanov off for Jensen. 6'4", extra height from the set pieces as well. 2 subs made. 70 on the clock. The best European performance of the season. A comfortable away lead at the moment. And with Roma drawing with Leipzig at the moment, looks like it's going to be very tight for a place in the final there. Jimenez is going to be replaced in centre mid. Bernberg and Berek will shuffle one. And we'll bring on Valdo Kamara. Much the same. 2 fullbacks in front of 2 fullbacks. And it leaves us with 1 sub break and 2 substitutions. In fact, 3 subs, doesn't it? Just to try and shore things up. 10 minutes remaining. What a performance this has been. Bernberg is knackered with 7 to go. And I think it is job done now. So we're going to put Asensio in there. Right wing, we'll go for Takatsuka. And we'll also go for a change up front or in defence. Do I rest Wills? I'm going to rest Wills. Joe Hugel is going to get a few minutes here. Mauricio missed a sitter of the season against Wolves, by the way. So Joe Hugel gets the run. He gets the nod here. Maybe that means Wolves can start in the league at the weekend. 3 added minutes. What an effort that is to get to the Europa League final. Leipzig beat Roma 1-0 on the night. That's a massive result as well. What an effort in our first European season. The Europa League final is here. And it will be Southend United versus RB Leipzig. And it's at Lille over in France. We've had experience there in the head coach this year. £2.4 million. That's no mean feat either. Leipzig, a 4-star side, a quality team. We saw they had Moussa Diaby there, who's probably still not that old, to be fair, less than 10 years in. Berek played on the left, star of the show. Director of football, assistant manager, deserves credit for that team selection. And we'll go through the press conference and just talk about how proud we are. But it does change our plan for the season finale, because we were going to be back on Saturday for Brighton and Everton to see if we could sneak into Europe. Now we're just going to show the final game against Everton. If we're still in the mix, we'll show it. If not, I might just go straight ahead to the Leipzig game, because it does look like it's going to be the top 8 for Europe. I guess we need to see who's in the FA Cup, don't we? Everton must have won the League Cup. They did. The FA Cup, who's in there? We go through to the matches now. Oh, Leeds v City. So Championship Leeds could get into Europe. City are obviously in the top 2, so that's not a problem. Leeds, though, are 6th in the Championship. So if Leeds United win and they get into Europe, then 8th place will be irrelevant, and we can't catch anyone else because we're 6 points off Newcastle with a far inferior goal difference. But what we can do is try and battle our way into 8th. If we look at the final 2 games, Villa have got United away. They should win that. They need a win to secure the title. Chelsea in 9th place have got who? Arsenal away, who need a win to get in the top 4. So you like to hope that if anyone's got a chance on the final day, it's probably us. The game before that, we've got Brighton, Spurs, Arsenal. That's a big game. Spurs won't be getting past us if Arsenal do their job. And then for Villa, they're at home to Everton in 4th, and Chelsea at home to United. Wow. So we've all got very tough run-ins. We're all just playing exclusively top 6 sides. And I think that's going to show and be a little bit too much. The problem we've got, though, is if we don't get 8th, or if Leeds win the FA Cup, and then we don't win the final against Leipzig, after all our efforts, we've got no Europe next year. And that means that for people like Wills and Ivanov and maybe Parker, who have taken that next step now, are we going to be able to keep them at the club? For now, we can't worry about that. We've just got to try and get the job done. We'll be back either for Everton and Leipzig, or just for Leipzig and the end of season review, depending on whether we've got a chance at the top 8 for the final day of the season. If you want to find out and you did enjoy this one, a really great performance in the Europa League. Yes, we had to sacrifice a Premier League result for it, but I don't know about you. I think it's going to be worth it. If you want to stay up to date and find out if it is and you enjoyed it, please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe and turn that notification bell on to stay up to date with everything across the channel. We'll be back with a head coach tomorrow. We've got, well, a bit of an early crisis at our new club in that save. It's going to be an interesting deadline day, and you might get to see a proper meltdown from me. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We've also got the season finale here on Saturday, which will include now the Europa League final in our debut campaign in European football. Will we go into Southend summer with Champions League football and a major trophy, or with ultimate disappointment, or the Conference League, which could be good fun for next year? We'll find out all the answers as the week goes on, and we'll have our 10-year look in the future at the whole save at the end of the season too. But for now, you can find links to all the other key playlists, the guides, the Twitch channel, and the football podcast all up in the eye above. Big run into the real football season. We got loads of content over there. Check all of those out, and thank you very much for watching as always. I'll see you back here next time for a very big game that I'm already quite nervous about. Can we do it? Can we win the Europa League against a great side in Leipzig and secure Champions League football? As a 10th place Premier League side, it would certainly be one way to do it, wouldn't it?